Welcome to While We Were Distracted, the podcast where we explore topics that often get overshadowed in the rush of daily life.
We're back and ready to dive into this final part of this wild ride through the source material. We're picking up on the idea that we might be on the brink of some major shift, a global awakening. And this source connects that idea back to ancient civilizations. Not just what they knew, but how they knew it.
It's as though they believe these ancient cultures, especially the Egyptians, were tuned into a different frequency, a deeper understanding of consciousness and the universe that we've, lost touch with.
The ancient Egyptians talk about a culture obsessed with the afterlife. I'm picturing pyramids, tombs, and maybe a mummy or two thrown in for good measure. What is it about the Egyptians that this source finds so fascinating?
They're really into the Egyptian concept of the Ka, often translated as soul, but it's a bit more nuanced than that.
More than just that ghostly thing that floats away when we die and goes to harp lessons in the sky.
Way more nuanced. The Egyptians saw the Ka as this energetic double of your physical body, a spiritual twin that existed both while you were alive and after you died. They believed your Ka was basically your life force, your personality, your essence, your connection to the divine.
So it's like our Ka is our energetic signature, the blueprint that animates us and carries on after our physical bodies expire.
Yeah.
I like it. It's a much more tangible way to think about the soul.
Right. And the source emphasizes that the Egyptians believed you could actually nurture and strengthen your Ka during life, which would impact its journey after death.
Okay, so it wasn't just about being a good person and hoping for the best when you kicked the bucket. They believed you had to actively cultivate your spiritual essence.
Exactly. They saw death not as an ending, but as a transition to a different realm of existence. And they believed the quality of that existence depended on how you developed your consciousness while you were alive.
It's a powerful reminder that our actions, our choices, even our thoughts, have consequences that ripple outward beyond our physical lifespan. That's a lot of pressure, though. What if my cause isn't ready for prime time? Did the Egyptians have any tips for how to buff up your spiritual resume, so to speak?
They were all about it. The source suggests they had all sorts of practices and even technologies designed to help people cultivate their Ka. Meditation, astrology, energy healing. They were doing it all centuries ago.
They were way ahead of their time. But if they had all this figured out back then, what happened? How did we lose this knowledge?
That's the million-dollar question, right? The source doesn't offer a definitive answer, but they seem to believe this wisdom was gradually lost or perhaps even intentionally suppressed. They talk about powerful forces throughout history who sought to keep this knowledge hidden, fearing its potential to disrupt the status quo.
It's a classic conspiracy theory. The idea that someone, somewhere, is sitting on a treasure trove of ancient wisdom. But I have to admit, there's a certain allure to it, isn't there? The idea that there are these lost secrets waiting to be rediscovered.
Definitely. And this source suggests that we can actually access this ancient wisdom, not through digging up tombs or deciphering hieroglyphs, but by learning to interpret the symbolism they encoded in their art, architecture, and mythology.
So it's like they left a trail of breadcrumbs, but the breadcrumbs are pyramids and sphinxes.
Right. They believed the Egyptians used metaphors and symbols to convey profound truths about reality, consciousness, and the cosmos. And they believe we can unlock those truths if we know how to read the language.
So it's less about the literal interpretation and more about deciphering the deeper meaning embedded within the symbols.
Exactly. And this isn't just an academic exercise. The source suggests it's a spiritual practice in itself. By learning to decode symbolism, we're actually expanding our own consciousness, attuning ourselves to a higher frequency of understanding.
It's like learning to read the universe's secret language. But it's not all about ancient civilizations, is it? This source also talks about the possibility of a new golden age, a time of peace, harmony, and enlightenment. It's a beautiful idea, but is that even realistic? Have we really gone downhill since the ancient Egyptians were building pyramids and communing with their cause?
They seem to believe that we have in some ways, that we've lost touch with a certain level of awareness and connection that was more prevalent in these ancient cultures.
It's like we've traded wisdom for technology, connection for convenience.
Perhaps. But the source also suggests it's not a one-way street. They believe we're actually on the verge of a new golden age, a time of great awakening and transformation.
So it's not about romanticizing the past, but about recognizing the potential for something even greater to emerge in the future.
Exactly. They believe we have a unique opportunity right now to reclaim this lost wisdom, to integrate the lessons of history, and to co-create a future that reflects the best of what humanity can be.
It's an incredible vision for the future. And it circles back to something we've been talking about this whole time. The idea that we're not just passive passengers on this ride, we're co-creators. But co-creation requires us to step up, to claim our power, and to act with intention and discernment. Which, let's be honest, can be pretty daunting. Where do we even begin?
This source would say the first step is simple. Cultivate discernment.
Discernment. In a world saturated with information and misinformation, that seems like a superpower in itself.
Right. They're not just talking about being careful about what we read or believe. They're talking about a deeper kind of discernment, the ability to see clearly, to distinguish truth from falsehood in all areas of our lives.
So it's about developing a strong inner compass, something that can guide us through all the noise and chaos. But how do we actually do that? How do we strengthen that inner knowing?
They're big proponents of practices like meditation and spending time in nature. Their belief is that by quieting the mind, tuning out the external noise, we can connect with a deeper wisdom that's always been there, guiding us from within.
It's about learning to trust that inner voice, that gut feeling, that often knows the way even when our minds are spinning in circles.
Exactly. It's about cultivating that deep inner knowing that allows us to make choices aligned with our highest good.
Choices that not only benefit us, but also contribute to the well-being of the whole.
That's a key part of it, and it's a recurring theme in this material. This source emphasizes that we're all part of a vast, interconnected web of life, and that our actions, even our thoughts, have ripple effects.
We're responsible for the energy we put out into the world.
And for the energy we cultivate within ourselves. They believe that by consciously choosing thoughts, beliefs, and actions that are aligned with love, compassion, and understanding, we can actually contribute to the healing and evolution of the planet.
That's a powerful message. It's not just about fixing ourselves. It's about recognizing our role as agents of change in a world that desperately needs it.
And that we don't have to wait for some external event or some far-off future to experience a taste of that golden age. We can start creating it right here, right now, with every breath we take, with every choice we make, with every act of kindness we offer.
That's a beautiful thought to end on. We're all capable of tapping into that power, that spark of divinity within, and using it to illuminate the world around us. That's the real message of the Christ oil, isn't it? It's not about some magical substance, but about the potential for transformation that exists within each and every one of us.
It's a potential waiting to be unlocked. And who knows, maybe, just maybe, we're already on our way.
On that note of hopeful possibility, we'll wrap up this deep dive. Thank you, as always, for joining us as we explore the uncharted territories of the mind, body, and spirit. Until next time, keep questioning, keep exploring, and keep shining bright.
Don't forget to like and subscribe for the next episode on While We Were Distracted.